What's going on, YouTubers? This information is in high demand, so I'm giving you guys another video. I keep getting emails, I keep getting phone calls. This thing is hot. I actually did an interview with a guy on a local radio station. He had me speak on this topic because he found me on YouTube, and I think that individual, whenever you want me to mention the radio station or you or anything that you're doing, please let me know. I sent them an email asking them for permission, but the show must go on. So this is a formula that I just thought of this morning on how to stop living paycheck to paycheck. This is a very hot topic. I talked about this some years ago on YouTube. Not a lot of people were talking about this, and I was one of the first people to actually start talking about this topic, dating back to a long time ago in 2009 when I was on YouTube prior, and then when I started this channel I started talking about it too, because I wanted to express what I was going through and how I got out of my situation. I was actually homeless twice before, and a lot of people don't know about that, but even worse for wear is that I had a lot of money and lost money, had a lot of money, lost money. This has happened to me before. There was a period in my life where I was actually above a certain kind of income, and I had a significant amount of money saved up, and I lost it. And throughout my life, I'm older now than I was in my youth. I only focused on realized gains, and then I had to find a way to understand why I was losing so much money. And some of the ways that people lose money that they don't think about is just through realized gains. So I'm going to talk about something really fast. This formula is specifically for people who have an emergency and need to get out of the paycheck to paycheck way of life. So this is how you can do it immediately. There's other ways that you can do this, but I'm going to use this formula for now, and I might talk about more formulas. If you guys have a demand for this information, you want me to talk about different methods, there's so many different methods. It's not one way. There's probably over 100 ways to do this, and they're all different, and some of them don't even have much to do with each other all the time. Some are just very broad and specific. Others are creative, and some others are just systematic. Some of them can be unrealized too. You can do it without even knowing you're doing it, and but most of the time you don't. So wealth building strategy for people living paycheck to paycheck. That's what I wrote on this board. You're not going to be able to see what I have on here in a video. I do realize that. I apologize for that. So this formula that I'm using is CCSCO. Okay, you can write this down. So step number one is categorize your needs. So if you want to create a little spreadsheet, right? Use Google spreadsheets, create a little spreadsheet, write down your bills, whatever you pay every month, just write them down. So categorize your needs: cell phone bill, anything that's that you have to pay into, anything that's a liability, right? So write those things down, and be honest with yourself. Every bill that you have, if you have some subscription to something and it costs $25 a month, put it on this spreadsheet. Categorize your needs, and then take a look at it and find out how much you're paying out each month, and then why. Because if you categorize your needs, you could start doing other things like, and I'm not talking about this in the formula, but if you categorize your needs, you can start saying, hey, I don't really need this anymore. I haven't used this in a while. You know, some people have gym memberships that they're paying for and they're not using the gym memberships, but they continue to pay for the memberships and they don't realize it. So there's a few ways to do this. And then create goals based on income. So your current income right now, right? You create goals based on that income. So if you decide that you need an extra $100 a month, you can start on creating a way to make an extra $100 a month, right? Maybe you're backed up on bills. Maybe you got a lot of credit going on and you need to get some of that out of the way. So categorize your needs. I'm not going to talk about the specifics because I'm not you. You may have different needs than I would or someone else watching this video. So everyone has different needs. I'm not going to specify, hey, you need this, because I could be wrong. Everyone's needs are different. So the next thing is to separate holdings. I talk about segregating your money, right? So you have one main checkings account that you pay everything with. A lot of people do this. They use one bank account for everything, especially mostly married couples. They say, oh, we have one bank account. I think most of the times, if you're married, you should probably have more than one bank account for sure. And probably more than one checkings account too, because you might have different needs. And I'm the kind of person who likes to separate holdings because I believe in a system of segregating income based on needs. And why? Because let's suppose you get into investing and you want to invest and you have a stock portfolio or whatever, and you have your bank account where you're paying your bills, and then you have automatic withdrawals into your stock portfolio. Let's suppose you're withdrawing automatically $250 a month into your stocks or something like that. And you might forget that because you have certain bills and you're not looking at your spreadsheets, and all of a sudden something bounces, something fails, and you don't know what's going on. Then that can happen. You'll have a situation where that will hurt you financially. So you got to focus on what's happening and what's going on and deal with your needs. So I believe in separating income for that particular reason. All right? So the next step is create a budget. So now, if you know your needs and you determine what your needs are and you categorize your income, you create a budget, right? So for example, you know everything you have to pay, and you haven't been doing this lately. Let's suppose you go to work and you've been going to somewhere, to a restaurant for lunch from now on, right? You can start with something small, like say, hey, instead of buying French fries, I'm going to stop ordering French fries, right? That's going to cut at least an extra $2 a day. So now you got $10 extra and an extra $40 a month. So you could do something small like that, or say, hey, instead of ordering soda, I'm going to get water. You're still going to go and eat. You're not going to change that. I don't try to be one of those people who tell people to do a complete 360 on your habits, because sometimes that's impossible. Okay, I've tried it before and it doesn't always work. But one good thing is to create a smaller goal, to try to tackle things on a smaller level. Maybe you say to yourself, I'm not going to buy that many scratch off this week. Maybe I'm going to cut down to about, $2 a day or something like that. Maybe some people are out there spending $70, $80 on scratch offs a week. Drop that down by significantly half and say, hey, instead, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put money into a money market account, and I'm going to make interest off of that, and then the rest is going to go to scratch offs. So I'm not talking about completely eliminating your habits and some of the things you want to do. I'm just talking about creating a budget here. So this is one of the ways that you can stop living paycheck to paycheck, by doing this. And the last one is optimize income. So if you realize that you're only making $30,000 a year, what's a great way to increase your money? Either start a business, find an income money hack, or get a second job. Now, some people are actually against this, because I hear this all the time. Some people, they won't do overtime. That's another option, by the way. They won't do overtime at their job because they say, if I do overtime, I'll just pay more taxes. This is true, right? So I can develop a formula to show you how to make it so that you don't have to deal with so much realized gains and actually put yourself in a position where you're paying so much taxes, because it is true. I had this conversation with a friend of mine who seems to think that capitalism is the devil or is wicked. And this person has an idea that, raising the minimum wage and all this other stuff is good for people. I tend to have a different position. I'm not really into raising minimum wage. I don't believe that raising the minimum wage is going to solve anybody's problems. I think entrepreneurship, budgeting, and investing is going to do better. And I'll give an example here. You guys can give me your opinion on this. You raise the minimum wage, right? So you increase people's payout by about $4 to $5 per hour. That's great for them in hindsight, at least realizing it. But to an investor or someone who has a more frugal mindset, this is a nightmare. Why? Because when you raise the wages, the IRS comes in and says, hey, you now have to pay more taxes. So are you really making more money? The answer is no. Here's a smarter way to optimize your income if you're thinking about that. I know some people who really are into raising the minimum wage are saying, yes, do it, and you're not thinking calculatively. You're not one of those individuals who go and create a spreadsheet or try to create a budget or use this formula to try to generate wealth when living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe you don't think about it. Maybe you didn't grow up around parents who know how to do this. Maybe your parents live paycheck to paycheck. You're doing it, and you think that the only way to solve your problem is by increasing your wages. And the truth is, it's not. It might help in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to hurt you. Because suppose you were to invest. Now, the taxes on dividend income is significantly lower than wages. Let's suppose you had a job at McDonald's and you had a goal to, let's suppose you're younger and stuff like that, you live at home or whatever, and I could talk about the other scenario if you're older and you depend on it for paying all your bills. I can talk about that as well. So let's get into the first version. Okay, you're a minor and you're working while going to school, and you're working part-time, and you're working at McDonald's or something like that, or any other place, for example, and you're getting a paycheck, and you're probably learning how to put some of your money away and invest some of your money or whatever, or maybe you're not because your parents aren't teaching you that, so you're not learning. And I noticed that a lot of people that work in fast food industry, they don't have bank accounts really, and I don't know why this is, but let's just suppose that's taking place, and you're thinking to yourself, hey, I'm making a little bit of money and stuff like that. Now, if you were to take your income, take your money while you're a minor or young or something like that, and start investing it in stocks and bonds at an early age, let's suppose you start at 16 and you're able to get at least $500 a year into the stock market that pays dividends, right? So you got a significant boost. You have a very significant boost right away in the beginning, right? So now by the time you're 18, you have $1,000 in the stock market, right? Now, according to statistics, you just made an extra $70 a year on that $1,000. Let's just suppose that that's all you did. Now you become 18 and you're still working, you're going to school and stuff like that. You get another few years in there. Let's just suppose you're able to, you got more experience and you move up to a better part-time job or whatever the case may be, and you're investing even more money. Let's suppose now it's $1,500 a year for the next few years. You go to school, you're getting your bachelor's degree or whatever the case may be, and now you have $5,000 or even more. You figure out a way to get even more money, right, invested in there. And let's suppose you get up to a point where you have $10,000, right? So now you say to yourself, you made an extra $700 a year with the $10,000. There's many ways to look at this. I know that looks like a small amount of money, but let's suppose you were to save up some money and get your first real estate property. You get out of school, you get a full-time job, you're making even more money, you're renting for a while, and you decide to yourself, or you don't get a really great job. Let's just suppose you can't find a good job, so you get a job full-time. Let's suppose you stuck with McDonald's the entire time, and you get a full-time position there at McDonald's, and let's suppose you're making about $25,000 a year or so, and you're paying bills, you're renting and stuff like that, whatever, and you're still able to save up enough money to get a down payment on a house. Now you buy this home, investor property, and it's a duplex or a triplex or fourplex, Um, and suppose you want to rent it out, and you can make an extra $12,000 a year with that income, right? Renters out. Now, here's the cool thing. The cool part about that is that now you can get tax breaks. Tax breaks. Okay, being employed doesn't give you tax breaks. Being an entrepreneur gives you tax breaks. It's a strategy. It's an idea. So here's one thing. I talked about a lot of stuff that I wasn't going to in this video, but I figured I wanted to just expose this information to all of those people who are just wondering what you can do in the grand scheme of things, rather than talking about optimizing your income. Optimizing your income will give you one choice, but optimizing it by too much would only mean that you become a partner with the IRS, because the IRS loves it when you want to increase your wages, because they can't wait to tax you even more. So instead, why not start learning how to invest your money? Preferably at an earlier age, but you don't have to necessarily do it at an earlier age. Suppose no one ever taught you. Suppose you didn't have money to go to school. You had no desire to get an education, right? You have no desire to go to college. You don't want to be a doctor. You don't want to be a lawyer, engineer, or anything like that, okay? Suppose you just want to work, you want to live a comfortable life, you want to try to save up money, you don't want to waste time getting involved in school loans and getting a bunch of debt that just chases you for the rest of your life. And all you want to do is just work and make a decent living. The good thing about this is that what you can do is you do have the opportunity at that point to become a part of the investors class. Let's just suppose you subscribe to my channel, which everybody should, and you follow me on Twitter. The link will be below, and for some reason you learned something new from me. Suppose I was the catalyst to you doing such a thing, such as learning how to invest your money rather than blowing it all the time. So I become the catalyst to this new habit of investing. And because of my YouTube channel, you learn how to put a little bit of money away, save and invest, so that you're not just a consumer. You're building assets instead of just paying off liabilities. And you think it's a cool thing. So all of a sudden you got this extra $1,000 you want to get invested all of a sudden. Or you say, you know what? I'm going to look into that real estate thing. How much would I need for a down payment? Can I get an FHA loan? Can I hack my way through? Can I get approved for a larger loan, being that I'm going to be renting out the other side of this duplex? Will that person who I'm renting out to next door to me, will that person be able to pay my bills so that I can save more money personally? Will I be living rent-free while this person is knocking down my mortgage? Yes, possibly. Will that person be giving me significant discounts on my cost of living? Yes, possibly. So there's many different ways you can attack this. I want to give you guys more ideas, but please like the video, subscribe, share it. Please just share it. Not all my subscribers get updated on this. I know how this goes. It's not going to hit everybody's email. I do not know how YouTube or Google works its algorithms, but I'm pretty sure that most of my subscribers aren't getting notifications on my videos. So if you want to hit the notification button on the side, make sure you get the videos. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter and I'm not making videos all the time, you'll at least get to see what's going on my mind and what's happening, what I'm thinking about, and you get to benefit from that. So subscribe, stop living paycheck to paycheck, and all it is just really hacking into different habits. I will talk about different things that you can do as far as avoiding realized income and trying to get taxed heavily. There are so many different ways that you can try to hack your way into not living paycheck to paycheck. And one more thing before I go. As a disclosure, people, this information is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a tax consultant. I'm not a financial advisor. Okay, take this information with a grain of salt, if you may, for entertainment purposes. Maybe it's going to educate you a little bit, maybe not. I don't know. It really just depends on you. All right? So you're going to have to learn how to just view things from a point where you could say, is this valuable or is it not? Do your research, look through articles, subscribe to different financial things. I am subscribed to a lot of different magazines. Money Magazine for once. I have Kiplinger's. I have a lot of different magazines. I do a lot of book reading. I read about investing, real estate. So I do a lot of reading. So we're going to talk more about that in the next video. I just want to thank everybody. Make sure you subscribe. Have a nice day and read the information below. You're going to see some links to follow me on Twitter and my disclosure notice. Thank you. Have a good day.